2025, Israel shattered years of covert conflict with Iran by launching Operation Rising Lion, a sweeping air campaign targeting Iran's nuclear and military infrastructure. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu declared the strikes essential to prevent an imminent nuclear threat, signaling Israel's zero-tolerance stance on a nuclear-armed Iran. Over 100 sites, including uranium enrichment facilities and IRGC command centers, were hit with precision. The operation was carried out without direct US military involvement, though Washington was informed and warned Iran against targeting American interests. This marked a dramatic shift from shadow warfare to open confrontation, fundamentally altering the rules of engagement in the region. The aftermath left Iran's critical infrastructure in ruins and its military leadership decimated, but also ignited fears of a wider war. For Israel, it was a calculated risk for national security. For the world, a moment of tense anticipation. The stage was set for Iran's inevitable and forceful response. Iran's answer was swift. A massive swarm of over 100 drones launched at Israeli cities within hours of the strikes. Air raid sirens blared as Israel's Iron Dome and other defense systems intercepted most of the incoming drones, lighting up the night sky. The attack was both a show of force and a message. Iran would retaliate directly and powerfully against any aggression. While Israel's defenses largely held, the psychological impact on its citizens was profound. Tehran framed the strike as justified retaliation, vowing further escalation if provoked. Both nations now stood on the brink, each demonstrating their willingness to strike the other. The world watched, uncertain if this was the end or just the beginning. Israel's strikes crippled Iran's nuclear program, hitting sites like Natanz and Fordo, and killed top IRGC commanders, including General Hossein Salami. The loss of senior military leaders disrupted Iran's command structure at a critical moment. Iran accused Israel of targeting civilians, fueling outrage and calls for revenge. Israel insisted its focus was strictly military, but the propaganda war intensified alongside the physical conflict. The destruction dealt a strategic blow to Iran, but also deepened its resolve for retaliation. The cycle of violence now seemed poised to escalate, with both sides locked in a deadly standoff. The region braced for what could become a prolonged and unpredictable conflict. The world reacted with alarm as the Israel-Iran conflict threatened to spiral out of control. The UN and NATO urgently called for restraint, warning of catastrophic consequences if escalation continued. The US distanced itself from the Israeli operation but warned Iran against targeting American interests, seeking to avoid direct involvement. Middle Eastern nations were divided. Some quietly supported Israel, others condemned the strikes. All feared regional destabilization. Global markets trembled at the prospect of wider conflict in a region critical to energy supplies. The UN Security Council convened, but divisions stymied a unified response. Despite loud calls for calm, the risk of a broader war loomed large. The fate of regional peace now hung by a thread. The direct clash between Israel and Iran has derailed diplomatic efforts, especially US-Iran nuclear talks. Hardliners in Tehran now reject negotiations, making peaceful resolution unlikely. The open conflict shattered the old rules of proxy warfare, raising the stakes for the entire region. Both nations remain on high alert, with the threat of further attacks or miscalculation ever present. Neighboring states fear spillover, while groups like Hezbollah and the Houthis may be drawn in, compounding the danger. The Middle East stands closer to all-out war than it has in years. International pleas for diplomacy persist, but trust is gone and confrontation seems inevitable. The coming days will determine if the region steps back from the brink or plunges into chaos.